within that experience, I wasn't just in the hospital being on a psychiatric hold. Once it was, I went to the hospital 3 times, and 2 of those times within the month of January, I was on a psychiatric hold. The first time I was placed 5150 on a psychiatric hold. Second time, I just needed help with sleep because so much was going through my mind. I couldn't sleep. I became delusional, and I was awake for like 4 to 5 days straight. Literally like 4 to 5 days straight. And then the third time that I went into the hospital, they placed me on I was completely coherent, fine. I couldn't sleep again because so many different things were going on through my mind. I will touch a lot more with that experience when I do write a book, because I have to be more mindful with my choice of words when it comes to that. I don't want to mislead anybody. But within the third experience is I was coherent, I was calm, I was respectful. I wasn't the same person that I was when I had went into the hospital for the first experience when I was placed 5150, being placed on a psychiatric hold. That made a lot of sense because of my current state and certain things that I was doing and saying. It did make sense to place me mindfully on a 5150 psychiatric hold. However, back to what I was saying on the third experience, I was placed 5150, almost being shipped to a psychiatric hospital just because of my first experience. When the third time I went into the hospital, I had no first experience symptoms such as anger, frustration, hostility. I wasn't. I was no threat. Again, compared to the first one. So the reason why I was placed on the 5150 the third time is because of my first experience. I will never forget this. I'm laying in bed and I'm trying to see my mom. Nobody will let me see mom, family. I was completely all by myself in the hallway. And all I see is security walk up to the side of my bed. They don't say anything. And I look over to them and I ask him. I was like, excuse me. I was like, are you here for me? And he was like, yes. And I was like, why? And he says, you were just placed on 5150. And I was like, really? He said, yeah. And I said, by who? And he told me the name, and I knew who they were, which was my psychiatrist at the time. And I didn't say anything else. I was just thinking, what's going on behind the scenes? Because nobody was telling me anything. Again, I wasn't hostile. I wasn't angry. I wasn't frustrated. I was very respectful. I talked to everybody by their first name: nurse, janitor, security, everybody that happened to be going across the hall or happened to pass me or happened to be assigned to my hospitalization. I was very respectful, and I would talk to them on a first name basis, or the name that they approached me with. You are Dr. So-and-so. That is who I called you. You're nurse so-and-so. That is who I called you. Whoever you were, I was very respectful. So third time I was placed on 5150 was absolutely uncalled for, ridiculous, and I think it was just somebody who, I'll just keep those thoughts to myself. But a very scary experience, but obviously everything worked out for the best. And